If you struggle with painful inflammation, this video is for you because I'm going to give you the exact steps hundreds of my clients have used to reduce and in some cases completely eliminate their inflammation. Hey, it's Kara and welcome back to my channel. Inflammation affects your joints, but so much more. It also affects your weight, digestion, heart, brain, literally every part of your body. And that's why it's so important to understand what's causing and know how to overcome it. We're seeing more and more people suffering from inflammation and the diseases it leads to. And there's this misconception that inflammation is just part of life and you have it. You're just kind of stuck with it. Or I'll often find that people think they're just a victim of their genetics or their age. But that's really a misconception too. I've seen it in my own life, my family's life, and the lives of the women I work with. Women who have battled inflammation for years, but then overcome it after putting these tips into practice. Women like Kendra, who battled IBS-related symptoms for over 15 years. Now today, her inflammation is gone, and so are her symptoms. Or Kelly, who could hardly walk at the end of the day because of how swollen her legs would get. But like Kendra, her inflammation is now gone. No more painful, swollen legs. My own husband used to have so much inflammation in his body that he was often unable to hold a phone to his ear or for more than a minute or so because of how painful his shoulder would get. He got to the point he couldn't sleep on his side at night because of the pain it caused in his shoulders. And often he had to adjust his workout routine. But those days are behind now that he has put what I'm going to share with you into practice. So first, we need to be sure to clarify the two types of inflammation. There's acute and chronic. Acute inflammation is our immune system's response to damaged cells, irritants, and pathogens that contact your skin. It's what you experience when you get a cut or you jam your finger. In the case of a cut, the inflammation is there for a time and then goes away as the cut heals. Chronic inflammation, on the other hand, takes place underneath the skin and affects your organs. This is the kind of inflammation we want to eliminate. So often we think of joint pain when we think of chronic inflammation, but the truth is it affects so much more than your joints. Symptoms include fatigue and joint pain, but also mouth sores, chest pain, swelling, abdominal pain, fever, and rashes. Inflammation-related disease is on the rise, and that's why we're seeing so many more autoimmune disorders like type 2 diabetes, arthritis, Crohn's, celiac, and Hashimoto's, just to name a few. Not to oversimplify it, but these are all inflammatory diseases. And that's why I'm so passionate about this topic and helping you overcome your inflammation. If you want to look and feel your best without feeling deprived or relying on dieting but haven't subscribed already, then hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified each time I put out a new video. Inflammation is typically caused by one of four things: life habits, the food we eat, genetics, and/or age. Of course, you can't do anything about your age or the genes you were born with, but you do have some control over their response. And there are plenty of ways to help your body age more gracefully. Because the food you eat and your life habits have a very powerful impact on your inflammation, for better or worse. A great deal of your inflammation is caused by the foods you eat and your daily habits. So I'm going to give you 7 things to reduce your inflammation. These are all things that are within your control. The first way to decrease inflammation is to decrease refined carbohydrates. Now, I'm not saying that you can no longer have bread, but you want to reduce the number of refined carbs that you eat. These are the foods you often think of when you hear empty calories. And there are 2 kinds. First, there's refined and processed sugars, such as sucrose, aka table sugar, high fructose corn syrup, and agave syrup. Secondly, there's refined grains, and these are grains that have had the fiber and nutritious parts removed. The most common example would be white flour, which is made from refined wheat. But avoiding these refined carbs can be easier said than done. So start small. Swap your refined grain bread with whole grain. Switch from soda to carbonated water. And eat more fruit and veggies in place of prepackaged foods. Moving on to number 2, develop and maintain proper hydration. Water is essential to every component and function in your body, but I don't think enough people really understand this. In fact, 75% of all Americans suffer from chronic dehydration. Dehydration leads to a host of problems, not the least of which is inflammation. Staying hydrated and drinking water certainly makes you feel better. It increases energy and improves your weight management, but it also helps your body flush out toxins that would otherwise promote inflammation. The amount of water you should be drinking each day can vary based on the things like your weight, sex, and activity level, but a general guide to follow for women is to drink 90 ounces per day, and for men, it's 125 ounces. But if you want to get specific, there's a pretty simple way to figure out the exact amount of water you should be drinking each day. Multiply your weight by 2/3, then consider your activity level. You want to add 12 ounces of water to your daily intake for every 30 minutes of exercise. But if you don't want to do the math, I put the link to my water calculator in the description below. Just type in a couple of things and it will spit out the answer for you. Okay, the third way to reduce your inflammation is to get proper sleep each night. With the hustle and bustle of life, it's easy to overlook the importance of sleep. Between checking emails, binging Netflix, and scrolling social media, I get it. It can be hard to shut it off at night. But not getting the ideal amount of sleep has been shown to trigger inflammation, even in healthy people. The reason a lack of sleep is so closely associated with inflammation is that during deep sleep cycles, your body does its housekeeping, and part of that process is reducing inflammation. Basically, your body goes through a nightly detox while you sleep. But when you don't get enough sleep, your body doesn't have enough time to do a thorough cleaning, and it can prompt your immune system to turn against healthy tissue and organs. It can lead to obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease, as well as even dementia and Alzheimer's. Aim for a minimum of 7 hours each night, but it's not only a matter of quantity. You want to be sure it's restful. So that means start a sleep schedule and make sure you have a peaceful bedroom. Then put the phone down, turn off the TV, and allow yourself to have time to wind down before you get under the sheets. If you don't already, come follow me on Instagram, where I provide simple weight loss tips. No frustrating diets or feeling deprived. I'll show you how to make weight loss a seamless part of your life. Now, the fourth way to reduce your inflammation is to consume turmeric. So turmeric is the #1 food on the anti-inflammatory food index. In fact, studies have shown it to be more effective anti-inflammatory treatment than common inflammation-fighting medications like ibuprofen and aspirin. You want to aim for a minimum of 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric each day, but it has a pretty earthy flavor, so you'll want to combine it into a smoothie or something else that will kind of mask the flavor. You can also grab a bottle of our Life Well Lived turmeric capsules. Each dose has 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, ensuring that you get what your body needs. And we don't use any fillers, and they're packed in veggie capsules. I'll drop the link below in the description. All right, number 5, consume more whole plant-based foods. Consuming more whole plant-based foods has been shown to reduce inflammation in 2 ways. First, it leaves less room for pro-inflammatory foods like refined carbs, processed foods, and animal proteins. And secondly, it provides the anti-inflammatory benefits of plant-based foods. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and legumes all contain phytochemicals. These are compounds known to have anti-inflammatory effects in the body. But let's look at one particular example, flaxseed. Flaxseed is a great source. It's loaded with these phytochemicals that has a bunch of fiber, and it's pretty easy to add to your breakfast. You can mix it into your morning smoothie, oatmeal, or even pancakes without even noticing it. Feel free to add it to other baked goods to get the benefit other times as well. You want to aim for 1 to 2 tablespoons each day to see these benefits. Now, I don't normally do this, but if you're serious about eliminating your inflammation, you're tired of the pain and discomfort, then I would love to tell you about Stuck to Thriving. It's the roadmap I developed to help women lose weight and overcome inflammation for good. I put a link down in the description for you. This is the exact roadmap we gave Kelly to help her not only get rid of her painful inflammation, but also lose over 40 pounds. If you're struggling with inflammation, information, take a moment to schedule a call to speak with us to see if you'd be a good fit. Back to our anti-inflammatory tips. Number 6, reduce animal-based foods. Okay, before you turn off this video or skip ahead to the next one, understand that I'm not telling you to completely eliminate animal-based foods altogether. Knowledge can be powerful if you know how to apply it. And like refined carbohydrates, I want to encourage you to reduce your consumption of these foods. And it's not without reason. Animal-based foods like meat, dairy, and eggs contain endotoxins, which trigger an inflammatory reaction within hours of eating it. Inflammation is an immune response to a perceived threat, and your body naturally tries to attack these bacterial toxins that enter the bloodstream. It's a reaction that leads to arterial stiffening and, of course, inflammation. So just simply reducing the amount of these foods in your diet has a powerful effect on eliminating the inflammation in your body. So my last tip is to develop good gut health. When it comes to overcoming inflammation, you need a healthy gut because it's such an important part of your overall health. When it comes to improving your gut health, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. We usually only hear about probiotics within this conversation. And yes, it's good to eat probiotic-rich foods such as sauerkraut, kombucha, miso, or kimchi. But it's also important to consume prebiotics. Prebiotics are undigestible dietary fibers that feed your gut's good bacteria. And interestingly enough, they're only found in plants. You can think of prebiotics as the fertilizer that feeds the good bacteria in your gut. One of the best ways to be sure you're providing your gut with a healthy amount of prebiotics each day is to consume more fiber. That means eating plenty of fruits and veggies, but also greens, beans, nuts, and seeds. Generally, women should aim for at least 25 grams of fiber each day, and men should get 38 grams at least. Strengthening your gut's microbiome is one of the cornerstones to reducing chronic inflammation. Remember, just because you can't control your age or the genetics you were born with doesn't mean you have to live with inflammation. Put these 7 tips into practice and your inflammation will decrease. And if you're ready to overcome your inflammation for good, grab the link below to schedule a time to speak with us to see if you'd be a good fit for Stuck to Thriving.